What's up, guys? Joe McDonough here with Bellator's Top 10, Jornel Lugo. Jornel, how are you doing, man? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing all right, man. So far, so good. Just took a couple weeks off of training, so I'm about to get back to it tomorrow.
And how exciting is it to get back into training? And also, how exciting is it to take a couple of weeks off of training?
It's good, man. I'm hungry again, especially after watching all these fights, these UFC fights with the fans back in the crowd. It's
Yeah.
been pretty dope, man. I trained once last week, but I had to go out of town. I went to Texas to visit some family. So now that I'm back, man, I'm dying to get back in the gym, to be honest.
Now tell me, obviously we can't do this interview and not talk about last night, UFC 261. What was the most bizarre moment to you? I mean, obviously Chris Weidman situation, the Kamaru Usman knockout, Rose's head kick. I mean, what for you was kind of like the holy shit moment?
Yeah, that Chris Weidman situation, that was crazy. I mean, he came out there, he just threw a calf kick off rip. He didn't even set it up or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's smart on what's that guy Uriah Hall's part for checking it the way he did. But damn, for it to crack on the shin. Usually people kick and they step back and it breaks. His broke on the kick. That's crazy.
Yeah. And as a fighter, I mean, Derek Lewis took to Twitter. Derek Lewis always hilarious, but said, "I'm never throwing a leg kick again." I mean, as a fighter, how scary is it to see that? Because like you said, it kind of was a freak incident.
Yeah, well, I mean, people throw jabs and they get countered to sleep. So you can throw a jab and get countered. You can throw a cross and get countered. So you can't stop doing things just because you can get countered. You just got to do things in a way where you have where you're defensively responsible. So the chances of you getting countered or hurt that way are very minimal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now talk to me. Big win over Caspel, very dominant performance. Was this your biggest win to date? And just as you've had a couple weeks to sit and think on it, talk to me about it.
It was definitely my biggest win on paper. For everybody else, I think it was my biggest win because I fought a guy who was ranked number 8, and he was 5-1, and has a pretty solid name already. But to me, my biggest win was my first Bellator win against John Duma, because for me that meant everything. Finally fighting on a big platform. So to me, that was my biggest win. But on paper, it definitely was my biggest win, fighting Caspel.
And you had joked after with the media that you felt invisible all week. I mean, you were a top 10 fighter, you were, all this stuff, and other fighters that are on the prelims that aren't top 10 are getting, pre-fight interviews, all this stuff, and you're kind of like, does Bellator even know I showed up this week? Talk to me about that, and has that changed since this big win over Caspel? I know you haven't, had fight news or anything yet, but has it changed, in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting a lot of interviews after that. I've gotten a lot of interviews, but yeah, beforehand, I didn't. I mean, it's not a big deal to me really either. Because I mean, when I do get the attention that I feel like I deserve, I better have the skills to back that up. I don't want to have the big lights in front of me, and my skills are not there. I do believe my skills are there, but I think they're going to be even better in the future. By the time everyone realizes who I am, I think that'll be when my skills actually matches up with the attention that I'm getting. So I think it's going slowly, but my skills are matching it. You don't want to have big bright lights in front of you, but your skills are not there yet.
Absolutely, man. And you only 25. Do you feel that the prime it hasn't even shown light yet?
Yeah, well, I think I always feel like every fight I got to that point where I'm like, I'm ready now. I feel like I'm right there. Or like I've gotten, but this last fight, truthfully, was like my first fight. Well, my third round with Sudo, and this whole fight has been like, I feel like I'm at the foundation of who I am as a fighter. Finally, now I'm at the foundation, and from here I'm going to build upon it. So coming in the future, you're going to see this guy plus more.
And I look forward to seeing that more because this guy's pretty great fighter right now. So I look forward to seeing what the more is. Talk to me about Mike Kimball, good friend of yours, training partner, Bellator fight, everything. The relationship you guys have. You guys are always cornering each other for fight weeks, all of this stuff.
Yeah, he's just one of my friends that I grew up with from a young age. We started fighting together when I was 14 years old. He joined the gym probably about 3 months after me. He was small by that time because he didn't start puberty till later on, and I was already a grown man at 14. So we started off training together. Me, him, and Jesse James Kozakowski. Go back in the house, Shula. That's my daughter. We started off training together, and then I wound up moving to Florida, and when I was around 18. So from about 18 to 20, about 21 to 22, I fighting amateur. I didn't see these guys for a long time, but when I did make my pro debut, or the fight before my pro debut, my last amateur fight, me and Mikey and Jesse started linking back up, and we started helping each other out for all our fights. So it's something that we started off doing together anyways, you know, so it's just pretty much continuing what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm. And how cool is it to kind of re-link up and all be in the similar spot? I mean, all three of you guys have a lot of hype around your name, all Bellator fighters. And to kind of, like you said, not talk for a couple of years, re-link up and kind of be in a similar position. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's definitely dope. We didn't stop speaking. We didn't get to see each other. And mind you, at that period of time, you know, people didn't have as much money. Not saying I'm not rich or anything like that, or none of us are rich, but you know, when you're younger, you don't have the finances to really move around the way you want to, you know, and that kind of freedom. So not as adults and professional fighters, we are able to do that more, be able to move more freely. I can go to Connecticut, they can come over here, they do the training camps over here. So as adults, everything is better.
Absolutely. And tell me, who for you is next? I mean, you've got to have, that's a very fun division, bantamweight division in Bellator. Who is next for you? Who would you like to be next? And when would you like to get back in the cage?
I want to get back in there in late July. But as far as who I want to fight next, I finally feel like I'm ready to fight any of these guys, anyone, in Bellator right now in the top 10. Before I wanted to be like groomed out, not groomed, but like pace myself and make sure I got the right matchups and make sure I was prepared to fight whoever was put in front of me. But at this point, like I said before, like I feel like I'm finally at the foundation of who I'm supposed to be. I'm going to be building upon this, but I already feel like I have the ability to beat anybody. But with that being said, yeah, there's a guy named Brian Moore. He's ranked number 10, and I feel like he's a tough fight. He's about to fight on May 7th, but I feel like that's somebody that will bring some skills out of me for sure. The guy who's ranked number 6, Leandro Higo, he's a tough fight. He's been around. He's a veteran. He's been around forever. I feel like that's a good fight for me. Josh Hill's right in front of me, but he's matched up right now with Stotson. But yeah, any of these guys, 5 through 10, I'll whoop on any of these guys right now, and then 1 through 5, like, hey, it's just for me when I do fight these guys.
You're coming.
When I do fight these guys, I always say this about everybody I fight, but I don't want it to be close. You know, I want to blow these guys out of the water. I want to skill these guys, and the difference between me and all of them. And I know you hear a lot of people say things like this, but most of these guys are one-dimensional, you know, as far as their stand-up or their grappling or their defense. You know, they might defend themselves with only one way. They might just move their head. They might just block. I can block. I can move my head. I move my feet. I got good stand-up, good boxing, good grappling. And the thing about that is, too, you can't find, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but you can't find footage on me being schooled anywhere. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never see nobody holding me down. You never see somebody beating me up on the feet. You don't see that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I'm better than anything you've seen before. Obviously, not my last fight. I haven't been training, so. But I'm going to be better than that soon. But, so, like, I'm just saying, it's not all hype. I do feel like I'm the full package, and not only that, but I feel like I'm going to mold. I'm like a chameleon. I'll become whatever I have to be to beat these guys. So if they're real good on the feet, then I'll figure it out. If they're real good on the ground, I'm going to figure it out. You know, I'm not going in there with one size fits all. I'm going to beat everybody the way everybody needs to be beat. You get what I'm saying?
And I love the chameleon reference, and I look forward to seeing all of that because, like you just said, I've been high on you for a long time, and it's good to see you getting the praise that you deserve. here as an undefeated fighter. Now, take me Archuleta versus Pettis coming up next week, I believe. That's your division. What's the prediction? Who do you think's the champ when you're fighting next?
I think that one's kind of obvious. I feel like Juan Archuleta is more well-rounded. To me, Juan Archuleta is the best in the division right now as far as being well-rounded. Like, because you got a guy named Magomedov, and then you have another guy named Brett Jones, something like that. I forget what his name is. Come from the UFC, 17-2. Those two are very similar. They're like Brett John, that guy. Yeah, he came from the UFC, and those guys are very similar. They like to wrestle, a little bit of stand up, but they love to wrestle. Then you have like James Gallagher and Patchy Mix. They got a little bit of stand up, and they love to grapple. They want to take your back, you know. Then you got like Sergio Pettis. He just likes to stand for the most part. He'll grapple off his back and stuff like that, but for the most part, he's not really wrestling too much. He's not like looking to grapple too much. Stotson just wants to put his weight on you and throw his weight around for the most part, it seems like. Yeah, but besides those are like the top 5, right? Then you have then you have like Juan Archuleta, and Juan Archuleta actually can wrestle. He can strike. He moves his feet well. He's very competent in grappling. So he's no slouch on the ground either. And he's somebody that studies his opponents. He's somebody that he will go in there and do what it takes to beat a specific fighter. So with all that being said, I feel like it's kind of like a clear victory for Juan Archuleta. He's going to go in there. He's going to figure out the Sergio Pettis situation, which is mostly going to be stand-up. And now keep in mind, I'm not saying Sergio's like a bad fighter. I'm just saying he's a great stand-up fighter. But as far as stylistically, when you put these people up against a bunch of different people, Juan Archuleta comes out on top more times than Sergio would. So I think when you put them together, Juan Archuleta is probably he's gonna mix up his stand up, and his wrestling is gonna figure out a way to beat him.
Well, Jornel, that's all I got for you, man. I look forward to seeing you back in July. Thank you, man. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.